The Coastal Response Program is an initiative within WCMRC that brings together lots of different programs under one kind of umbrella or overarching program. It starts with the risk at the bottom, so understanding really within our geographic area of response, where's the highest risk to us? And from there we start building our way up. We look at coastal mapping and understand what sensitivities are potentially around in our GAR, or geographic area of response, and really understand how we best could protect them. So that's once we've identified the sensitivities, we take it to that next level of really starting to look at, can we develop a geographic response strategy for it? From there, once we know where these sensitivities are, it helps to identify where do we put our equipment. Can we be strategically locating equipment in locations to make it quicker or faster to be able to respond to a spill and protect those sensitivities that have been identified? From there, it really takes us to that vessel of opportunity program. So if we know we're going to put equipment in locations, we're going to need our contractor support base to be able to help deploy those protection strategies and work our way up into that vessel of opportunity program / contractor base to support the whole coastal response program. Knowing ahead of time what is of area concern to a local community or First Nation allows us to properly plan, mobilize equipment and people to the site in a time condensed manner that you wouldn't get that opportunity to do if we hadn't done this pre-planning work.
We're looking to protect the intertidal zone in the event of a spill, so that's what the geographic response program is. So pretty much any features that fall within that intertidal zone. It could be biological features, so that could be eelgrass, clam beds, animals, stuff like that. We're doing socioeconomic features, so that could be boat ramps, marinas, ferry terminals, and then cultural features as well, archaeological features. So that could be things important to First Nations, such as shell middens, burial grounds, or important cultural sites. So those are kind of the main type of features we protect, but it really varies up and down the coast what sort of features will be present. We've really focused on areas of high risk. That's how we prioritize this. So we're looking at the southern shipping lanes, some of the ports, marinas, stuff like that. So if you look at our Coastal Response website, you'll see the whole kind of southern shipping lanes are very high concentration of GRSs, and then we're getting to the North Island as well as Prince Rupert, and there's other areas we have a lot more work to do, but again, it's in regards to risk. So it's always going to be an ongoing, it's a cyclical thing, right? So we're never going to be able to say it's all done, right? Because as soon as we do one area, we'll always have to revisit and make sure we're getting everything.
Within WCMRC, we have created about 706 GRSs, and every year we go and we test them. And so the idea that within a 5-year cycle that we will end up testing every one of the 706 GRSs. So when we go out on a GRS verification, we call it, we are collecting operational and environmental data. Operationally, we want to know how much boom are we using, how many anchors do we need, what kind of polysteel line do we require, where our tie-offs are, how many vessels have we had, what type of vessels. And then we want to collect environmental conditions. What kind of wave height did the boom work in? What kind of depth did it work in? What kind of current and such. So we're able to compile that into a verification form and enter that into the GRS to make sure that document is the most realistic reflection of what's in the actual field. A lot of the key data comes from first-hand knowledge, and we find that a lot with First Nation and small community groups. So we sit down with them and we lay out maps and work with them to identify what matters to them and what is in their backyard. From that, we're able to compile it into our database, identify where those key areas are, and protect them.
So once we've identified the sensitivities along the coastline and we've developed our geographic response strategies, the next step is to put equipment closer to these strategies so it's easier and quicker to deploy them. So we've developed these coastal response packages, which essentially is a 20-foot sea can with about 1,700 feet of boom in it, along with anchor kits. And so we deploy those into communities in the Gulf Islands, in Souk, along the coastline, and then we train local vessels of opportunity to access that equipment and deploy that so they're protecting their own sensitivities, they're protecting their own backyard. And so that's the program that we have for the coastal response packages.
A vessel of opportunity is essentially a contractor vessel that we can use in a spill situation to respond, either utilizing a spill response tactic or filling a logistical function like, say, a water taxi that would be similar to their everyday work.
There's a few different ways that communities can get involved in spill response. The first one is working with us on geographic response strategies, so identifying areas along the coast that would be sensitive to oiling and developing protection strategies for those. Communities who have vessels and mariners can join our Vessel of Opportunity contractor program, get trained in spill response, and work with us on spills.